Test. Test, test. It's cold out here. And the wind is blowing. So I'm gonna put on the little fuzzy thing. I can't get this into focus. I had it. Whatever. There's a little fuzzy thing. I'm gonna put that on there. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Okay, so I'm gonna put my hands in my pockets, which I wouldn't normally do, but I am going to. But I'm gonna talk to you from my wood chips, as I'm gonna talk to you about like who I am, I guess. Hey, hello, hi, bonjour, ni hao, hola, aloha. My name is Anthony Daquan McDonald. I'm a man of the book. I'm a Christian. I feel like that's most important because that dictates, how I live the rest of who I am. But the rest of who I am, I'm a dad. I'm a father of 4. 1 that's still in the womb. I'm a husband. I'm a brother. I am a friend. I am a advisor. I'm a student. A lifelong student, I think is how I would say that. And I am a homesteader or farmer, however you want to put that. And that's the one that I want to talk about. I think, again, me being a Christian dictates how I live the rest of, who I am. And I think that as a Christian, I think that, your food is so important. It's really important to know the food that you are eating, or the food that you are feeding your kids. I guess I forgot. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and the reason why, I'm a veteran, I would have liked to have done 20 plus years in the Marine Corps, but God had other plans for me. But I am a disabled veteran. Back in a long time, 8 years ago, I had a really bad accident and a building collapsed on me, and my health took a complete 180-degree turn, and I think at one point I was on like 7 or 8 different medications, and they all made me drowsy. And there was one morning when, I woke up in the morning and I couldn't move. I was so sedated and so like drugged up that I legitimately could not move. I had to literally roll out of bed and get my wife's help. And ever since I became a Christian, and Jesus started talking to me, the first thing he started talking to me about was my food. Anthony, look at your food. Anthony, look at what you're feeding your kids. And I did. So our diet took a 180-degree turn. And, now I tell people I don't even take Tylenol. I don't take cough syrup. I don't take anything. My food is my medicine, and my medicine is my food. And I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been in. I say that, but my accident was a really bad accident, and my body is I feel it every day. But given the circumstance, I think I am in pretty good shape, and it's mostly because of my food, because of the food I decided to eat. And I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people, they all convey the same worry, I guess, of, I would love to grow food. I would love to grow my food, but I can't. And that can't sometimes is I can't because I don't have the space, which is a misconception. Or I can't because I don't know how to grow anything, which is also a misconception. And, I'm here just to say start. Just start. Start somewhere. I didn't grow up on a farm. I didn't grow up on a homestead. I didn't grow up with a garden. I think that stopped with my grandma. And I didn't have it. But if I can do it, the old cliche, if I can do it, then you can do it. But it's legit. If I can do it, then you can. Because I am no one special. I am nothing special. I'm special to God. Amen. But I'm not that fundamentally different than you are, or from you. And I just started. When God said, Anthony, look at your food. I think one of the first things that I started growing was cucumbers outside my back door. And they grew and they were delicious. So I think that in that fall, I put in a garden bed. I put in a 6 by 13 foot garden, and I planted in that for a season, and things grew, things were delicious. So I decided to, keep that going. So I planted a 30 by 60 foot garden. And again, I'm pulling things out of this garden that people are saying, I've been gardening my whole life trying to get a good crop. People say watermelon's so hard. I was pulling out 45-pound watermelon my first try. People are like, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I know, my philosophy was, and still is, but God's a better gardener than I am, so I just, follow what he does, follow what makes sense, and I just do that. And here I am pulling out 45-pound watermelon. Here I am pulling out these super sweet tomatoes and these really good green beans and carrots and all this and that. And sweet potatoes, amazingly sweet potatoes. And the whole time, I have no idea what I'm doing. And this year, we stepped up that 30 by 60 to a 40 by 80. And we planted about 25 fruit trees and bushes. We have chickens. We have ducks. We have pigs. I'm looking at sheep. And, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't just started. So this is, like I said, this is me telling you who I am, a bit of what I am, why it doesn't make sense for me to be successful as a gardener, and yet I'm successful as a gardener, semi-successful. I have my losses. I messed up. I kill stuff too, but that's all part of the learning process, I think. And I want to encourage you to just start. It's so important that you do. Your food security is absolutely predicated on how self-sufficient you are, or how confident you are in your abilities, or the level of your abilities. And we can't really depend on the current food system to be dependable long term. I don't have to tell you, but look at the price of produce. I saw online not long ago where this lady took a receipt from a few years ago, and she went to the same store in the same area and bought the same items, and the price, the total price of the receipt was like doubled. So food is getting expensive. And we all remember back when COVID hit. The empty shelves. Some shelves are still empty. Some shelves are empty, but they may have a few cans on them that they pull to the front to make it seem like they're not empty. We can all remember that. And like I said, I have kids. You may have kids. I don't know. You may have parents. You may have grandparents who depend on you. And this isn't like some doom and gloom type thing, but this is a encouraging. This is an encouraging talk. You can have a say so in your food security. You don't have to eat bugs. You don't have to eat the things that these big tech companies are telling you that they want you to eat. You can let food be your medicine. You can be more involved and be more intimate with your food. You can do it. You can homestead. You can grow your food. I do. I did. And again, I'm no different from you. I'm no different than you. So, be blessed. Take care. Just start. Plant you some cucumbers in the spring. See what them cukes do. Cucumbers are easy. Get you some easy wins under your belt. Peace.